Previously, we had only traveled to the east and south of our country, but this time we decided to explore the west. We wanted to see how people lived in this part of our vast homeland. Dear friends, welcome to our channel. In this video, we're going to share some pictures from our recent trip to the west of our country. You can find links to all our travel videos in the description. So, we bought tickets, booked a hotel, and with a thirst for new experiences in our hearts, we headed to Kaliningrad, formerly Königsberg, a city on the western border of Russia. First, we checked in at the hotel. I'll definitely tell you more about it and show it in a separate video. Then, without wasting any more time, we began exploring the part of the city that was only a short walk away from the hotel. Upper Pond, also known as Upper Lake among locals, is actually a man-made pond that was constructed in the vicinity of Königsberg Castle in 1270 by members of the Teutonic Knights. It was then part of East Prussia, and the Knights blocked a tributary of the Pregoli River with an earthen dam to create a reservoir that served to supply the castle with water and fish. Interestingly, the oldest surviving building in Kaliningrad, the Juditten Church, was built 20 years later in 1288. In the early 20th century, the pond became a popular recreational area for residents of the city. Its bottom was covered with a thick layer of sea sand, and swimming pools, cafes, restaurants, and pleasure boats were set up along the shore. A new, prestigious Marienhof villa area was also built next to the pond. And then there was a tour of the iconic places of Kaliningrad with a wonderful guide, Vladimir. It should be noted that the difference between a person who is passionate about their work and someone who was recruited for the job is significant. The tour was perfectly planned to the last detail, with an optimal balance of dry facts and interesting stories, with a touch of good humor. Thanks to Vladimir, 3 hours spent walking through the city went by in a flash. I highly recommend his tour and would like to share a link to his page right below this video. This is the central square in Kaliningrad, which in the past was indeed the city's heart. It was located within the inner courtyard of the Royal Königsberg Castle, from which the city itself emerged. The castle was founded in 1255 by Czech King Ottokar II Przemysl and existed until 1967. From 1945 until then, various administrative and public institutions of the city, as well as the whole of East Prussia, were located within its walls. There were also museum collections and reception halls. In August 1944, during an Anglo-American air raid during the Second World War, and in April 1945, during the storming of Königsberg, the castle sustained significant damage. And by 1956, some of its towers and walls were still in ruin. Despite public debate about whether to tear down the castle or not, in 1967, Nikolai Konovalov, the first secretary of the Regional Committee of the Communist Party of the Soviet Union, decided to demolish it. The main reason for this decision was Konovalov's desire to create a new, Soviet city on the site of what he saw as an old German city. Since then, the square has remained empty and unattended, like a large, disorganized parking lot. The nearby Kaliningrad Hotel does not add to the romantic atmosphere either. All that remains of the magnificent royal castle of Königsberg is a diagram on the pavement, showing where its imposing, impregnable walls once stood. The exact date of the beginning of construction of the cathedral in Königsberg is uncertain. Officially, its birthday is considered to be September 13, 1333, when the master of the Teutonic Order reportedly gave the go-ahead for construction. Initially, the project envisaged the construction of a cathedral fortress because the territory had just been conquered. However, Luther Brunswick, the Grand Master of the Order, did not grant permission for this, stating that there is no need to build another fortress at an arrow's flight distance from the Order castle. Thus, the cathedral was originally built exclusively as a religious structure. In 1789, the famous Russian historian and writer Nikolai Mikhailovich Karamzin visited the Königsberg Cathedral. In his travel notes, there remains a record dedicated to the cathedral. The local cathedral church is immense. With great attention, I examined their ancient weapons, armor. During the war, the cathedral was partially destroyed and remained in ruins for a long time after its end. Among the party leadership of the Soviet Union, there were many supporters of complete destruction of the building, since the Königsberg Cathedral was considered a symbol of Prussian militarism and fascism, almost like a sore on the eye of the new socialist city. As a result, the cathedral was not demolished only because the great German philosopher and thinker Immanuel Kant, a native of Königsberg, was buried within its walls. They dared not touch such a worldwide celebrity. Now, Kant's grave and the cathedral building itself are a popular attraction for numerous tourists from around the world. Interestingly enough, Kant can be called our Russian philosopher too, since in 1758, during what is known as the 7 Years' War, when the Russian army occupied Königsberg, Kant worked at that time at the University of Königsberg. He swore allegiance to Empress Elizabeth of Russia. Later, despite the fact that in 1762 Peter III returned the city under the authority of King Frederick II of Prussia, unlike many other fellow citizens who renounced their Russian citizenship, Kant retained it until the end of his life. Immanuel Kant's name has already been given in modern times to the island where his grave and the cathedral are located. The historical name of the island is Niepow, which translates from Old Prussian as surrounded by water, river. The island is surrounded on all sides by the Pregoli River and is situated in the central part of Kaliningrad, near Central Square and Fish Village. In the past, the island of Niepow was densely populated with buildings, and the town on the island was called Altstadt. However, during the bombing raids by British aircraft in 1944 during the Second World War, the urban development of Niepow was completely destroyed. Only the Königsberg Cathedral survived relatively intact, standing as the last outpost of the ghost city. Currently, as you see, the island of Niepow has turned into a park. However, according to the reconstruction program of Kaliningrad Center, full restoration of Altstadt is planned. Various trade fairs and large-scale entertainment events often take place on the island.
Надеюсь, удалось объяснить и рассказать, каким был город Königsberg. Я со своей стороны видел ваши горящие глаза, ваши улыбки, ваши вопросы. Меня это мотивирует, вдохновляет на дальнейшую работу. От себя всем хочу пожелать как можно больше здоровья, спокойствия, удачи и дальнейшего приятного знакомства с Калининградом, его окрестностями, побережьем Балтийского моря. Спасибо вам, спасибо большое. Такая моя экскурсия.
Спасибо большое.
Спасибо вам.